Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Moving Mountains for You. This is your host, Sachi Ice Queen. Um, in the professional world, I'm known as Zeledon, but in the artistry world and the, I guess, podcasting space, I go by Sachi Ice Queen. And today we have such a special guest. Not only is he a performer, he knows a lot about martial arts. He's just an all-around amazing person, and I'm just so glad to be able to feature him today. Um, I met his mom about 4 years ago, and she is just a powerhouse. And so I was just so happy to meet both of her amazing kids, and definitely wanted to feature Joel because I just recently went to one of my nephew's jujitsu kind of competition. And so I was like, hey, let's talk about jujitsu. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, love to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. So Joel, reintroduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, just a little bit of nuggets of your life and to share with our audience. Can you hear me? Go ahead. Hello. Can you hear me? So yeah, Joel, you can go ahead and reintroduce yourself, tell a little bit about yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, I lost you there for a second. Okay, so like Esleth said, you may have heard me before. Well, you probably have from my mom, Claudia. She loves to talk about me and my sister, and so we're famous, but beyond kind of like who we know and kind of who we talk to. So yeah, I'm like Esleth said, I'm a performer. I love music, and I'm also a martial arts instructor. I'm a third-degree black belt in Taekwondo and a second-degree black belt in kickboxing, a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. And I train martial arts. I love martial arts. I'll talk about it. I'll watch UFC. I love to teach it and learn it. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Yeah, like whenever I heard that you were teaching classes and you were like one of the first in the state and the youngest, I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. And so, I mean, your mom loves to talk about her kids. And so I was like, yeah, we need. So I just recently did a podcast episode about child abuse and how to prevent it. And that was one of the suggestions that I told, the people of Nigeria, because it was for a Nigerian audience, and I told them to learn self-defense. And so that's why I was like, man, this episode is just going to be perfect, because it's like it was mainly like maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago that we got to do that amazing conference. So I definitely wanted to highlight someone who is already doing what I teaching. And not only that, you're not just a singer, you also were an actor, right?
Right. Yeah. So 10th grade and 11th grade, I was in the school musical. 10th grade was Footloose. I was Ren, who's the lead role. And then 11th grade, I was Batman, Musings from the Batcave. So that was a blast. And I learned a lot about how I knew how to project myself and, kind of have that stage presence, but getting out there and actually performing gives you that experience, not only public speaking, but, conquering that fear of like getting out and putting yourself out there in front of people. And for me, I never felt like I had that, kind of fear or like that inhibition. I feel like as we get older, you kind of lose that if you don't have that young person at heart, and if you can stay young and, keep your soul strong, keep that soul alive, then, you can keep performing and keep sharing with people music you love or poetry or whatever kind of art it is. If you got that fire inside of you, it takes a little bit of experience getting out there and doing it. So that was like, I don't know, like 5-6 years ago. But I still remember it to this day, and my mom and my dad aren't gonna let me forget about it either. So
I know not very many people can say that they were Batman. That's pretty cool. So
yes, it was a blast.
so who in your life showed you, or who in your life shaped you to be the man that you are today?
Well, first and foremost, I'd say God. I'd say that they have a big influence on me, and I put my faith and my love in the Lord and Jesus Christ. He's my savior, first and foremost. And after that, it'd be my mom and my dad. They were amazing parents, and I'm super duper glad that my sister and I got to grow up with their guidance and with their parental, um, look forward. And as you get older, you kind of you see like, wow, my mom, my dad are still like they did so much for me and my sister, and it's just something that you realize like as you gain more wisdom. So my dad was super experienced. He traveled the world as a tool and die maker. He's got 40 plus years of experience, and he's been to Germany and Israel and um, all over the place pretty much, and ended up here in the U.S. And here my sister and I are after they met in Texas. So life is a very precious thing. It couldn't happen a different way. I could have been Joel in, Japan or something, or Joel in Brazil, but here I am, in the US in Conway, Arkansas. And, that's where I was born and raised. And, my parents had a huge impact on kind of like my morals and, my compass. I was always a happy kid. If you look back at pictures of me, like I'm always smiling with my mouth open, and so I've always had, that goodness in my heart, but my parents really kind of like helped me kind of find that goodness in my heart. And
That's good. You're
as you get
fortunate.
older, you kind of have like,
That's good that you're fortunate that you had those parents. A lot of people can't really say that about their parents, you know.
right.
So that's something that's good that you want to honor them in that way, and like definitely, shout them out because they did a good job.
Yes, I did. I'm proud of my sister, and I'm proud of me, and still my mom and dad. Like, kids, don't forget, you can be proud of your parents too. You can say that. Don't feel like it's just like your parents. Like, if you're proud of your parents, I mean, like they raised you, they brought you up. So if they're around, then you can definitely say like I'm proud and I'm thankful. And as a kid, you kind of have idols growing up. So for me, I watched a lot of anime like Naruto. Like for me, like I wanted to be just like a ninja, And then Dragon Ball Z was Goku, right? Because he was always saving the day. He could turn Super Saiyan, And I kind of wanted to embody that, And they had confidence, and they, had grit and brawn. And me, along with a lot of youth, boys and girls, they kind of looked up to that kind of stuff. Like, wow, like I want to do that. And I remember being in the playground, hanging out with my friends and shooting Kamehameha. And it was pretty kind of like looking back at it, pretty geeky, but I didn't care. I still did it, and it got me used to being myself, being authentic as much as I could. Which is tough nowadays. I think.
It really is. I mean, imposter syndrome is a real thing, especially as performers. I mean, you're literally trying to act or trying to do something, be someone. And just depends who you are and who you want to be that day. Since I write poetry, like I kind of like have to like mentally prepare myself, like what if I want to write about something, because I'm an author as well. So like if I had to put myself mentally there first before I can like write it. I usually write non-fictional stuff, but I'm trying to do fictional, and I'm just kind of like, this is so weird to me. Like it's harder because you have to like think, okay, what would this person say, or what would like, so that's pretty amazing that you kept that authenticity in your, adult life. And so that what inspired you to be a performer?
So my favorite bands are AC/DC and Van Halen and Led Zeppelin. And that's kind of like whenever I did the musicals when I was like 15 or 16, those were the songs I would use to audition for these kind of, these plays and these musicals. So I used that to um, my strength. I wanted to share. I didn't want to sing a song that I didn't like, because if I did, then well, I wouldn't have got the part, because I wouldn't have given it my all. So I'm very fortunate to know kind of like what my likes and my interests are, and be be vocal about it, be forward about it. And I think that if more people can have the courage to be authentic and really like say like, yeah, I like this, and I don't have to give you a reason why, and nobody's got to know why I like it. It's just I like it for what it is. And I remember writing short stories like in school, like elementary school and stuff. And pretty much it was my like recollection of what happened in Dragon Ball or like what happened in Naruto that night that I watched the episode before. So I mean, the people that make these stories, I mean, they're also inspired from something else too, So I think it's a lot of the time we're looking at these idols and these authors just like, God, where did they get this info, this story? And it's a lot of the time it's like ancient stories that have been passed down from family to family, and like for example, like Dragon Ball Z, it's based off old Japanese like folk tale where like one of the Nimbus, like they're thunder god and lightning gods, and they kind of like the hero's journey of that they kind of based Goku off of, and it worked. Like why change? Why change it? I mean, if it doesn't work, and of course you dial the knob to where your taste kind of fits in. You can't just like carbon copy.
Yeah, I mean, the only like anime that I really, really got into was Avatar, the Airbender. Like I was
Okay.
I was like, whoa, this is super cool. I saw
Yeah.
both ones, the Katara one, I think it was, and then like the girl one, and then the Aang one. And so
Yeah.
I saw both of them and I was like, my nephews, they're really, really into that. And so I got into it with them. So it was
Yeah.
pretty cool to see it whenever it the life one that the movie that they did, which everyone said it bombed, but
So that's a cartoon actually. Anime means it's a Japanese cartoon. Avatar is actually an American cartoon, believe it or not. But it's heavily based like off like anime. So that kind of goes back to my point. Like it's like there, but not completely, the same kind of thing. So I kind of think back to Jerry Cantrell and Alice in Chains, who was the guitarist. He played guitar in Alice in Chains. And one of his quotes was like, you try to emulate your idols the best you can. And then hopefully, you kind of get to where they were, but then, you keep some of what you brought to the table. You find your kind of, inner light. So to emulate your idols and to try to be like them, you do what they did, but your kind of path, you take your kind of path and you learn about yourself. So don't be afraid to kind of just be like somebody like who you look up to. I think a lot of the time it's we want like the inner kind of voice, which is important to listen to. You should listen to that, your voice. But if you kind of try and do something that inspires you that somebody else already did, you'll find out a lot about yourself and you learn a lot about the world. So that's just pretty much what I'm doing. I just kind of find idols that I like and I try to emulate them, and then I learn about myself, and I grow myself, and I can share with other people, like
that's
you and I are doing
that's
now.
awesome though, because if you didn't hear, and if I'll repeat what he said, find idols and find mentors that you look up to. Maybe you don't have a mentor right now, maybe you don't have a positive person to look up to. There's so many on the internet, literally. So like if you're, say you want to be a singer, like Google one of the best singers in the world, or like Google whatever you want to become. Say you want to become a successful real estate agent. I mean, Grant Cardone is pretty popular right now, but there's so many other, people that are in real estate. There's just so many other like different types of careers that you can just literally YouTube it. YouTube is there for a reason. Like to me, a lot of people learn a lot of things on YouTube. I do. And that I think whenever it comes to perfecting your craft and perfecting your gifts, you first have to like really look within yourself and see like, who do I want to be? Who am I? I know a lot of people struggle with identity issues. Like I'm a spiritual life coach and a therapeutic art coach, and I know that they struggle with that, with identity issues. And I think when you kind of really accept who you are and kind of just pursue what you want to do, um, which is what you're doing, you kind of live a happier life. You live more free. You, like you were saying, since you were young, you would smile. I think when you can truly be your authentic self, you grow up like living your best life because you grew up being you, not trying to be someone else. And so,
Mhm.
um, you know, my last question is, if life was teaching you a lesson, what would you say it has been teaching you using one word?
One word would be faith, in my opinion. Faith in the Lord, faith in Jesus, and then, faith in yourself. I think that a lot of the time we lose faith in ourselves if, because God is going to give you some hardships in life. He's going to test you. And first, like I said, you have to, accept like this is God's plan, and then believe in yourself. Say, yes, I can rise to the occasion because, why else would I be here? I've made it this far, so I just got to keep trucking and keep going. So faith in yourself, and then faith in your friends and your family, people who know you, people who are around you every day. And when I say people who know you, I say people who remind you of your authentic self, not people who make you put on, a mask, not people who make pressure you to do things that you don't want to do, people who remind you like, yeah, I love life. I love to share with life. And, I feel authentic around these people, and they're people who encourage you, and people who want what's best for you, and it takes a little bit to, recognize that, as you kind of get older, because you want everybody to be your friend. At least that's how it was for me, in high school. I pretty much, having a beautiful sister, who everybody in the high school knows, like you're going to have to know, let alone me being a performer and then, kind of like a charismatic and nice guy, I tried to be as friends with as many people as I could. And most of the time, they were authentic friends. And, I did. But I'm at a high school now. I went to college for just a little bit. And my circle of friends is fairly big, but not as big as it was, in high school and whatnot. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. And when you go and you grow up, you learn about yourself and you learn about, what your morals are and who you want to surround yourself with. And, if you want to put faith in something, put faith that you will find people who are going to take you in that direction. Put your faith in a mentor, and put your faith in yourself, and like you said earlier, if you want to do something, you need to find somebody who's done it before, and put faith in them. So that's what I have to leave with that today.
That's amazing though, because like whenever it comes to like believing in yourself and having that faith in yourself, so many, young people and even young adults, they still struggle with that. I've even met older adults that they struggle with believing in that they can do something, and
Right.
so that's the amount of wisdom that you have is definitely beyond your years, because I know that, most people struggle with self-identity and all that when they're really young, even after college, like they still struggle with it. And so, that's awesome that you definitely want to share that with the audience, because, for all of the students that are listening, and they're learning English, they're perfecting their English, this podcast, is specifically, we created it for our English speaking students. And so, just have that, assurance that you're doing what you need to do to perfect your skill in order for you to get to where you need to be. And so, he mentioned, the people who you surround with, there's a saying, you are the average of the 5 people that you hang around with. And so choose those 5 people really wisely. Are those 5 people tearing you down? Are those 5 people, building you up and trying to get you to your next goal? And so that's amazing advice. I definitely want to hear a little bit of music.
Sure.
So if you want to like just I don't know, you could sing or do perform whatever song that you want to.
Okay.
Uh, and yeah, any upcoming events that you have or shout outs you want to give before you perform for us?
Yeah, 100%. So Toe-to-Toe Martial Arts is an academy that I am an instructor at. It's owned by a gentleman named Curtis Robinson. He's a 20 plus year Army veteran and a 30 plus year martial artist. So he really wants to see the community kind of come together and improve their self-defense so that way we can feel safe and have security around. So 807 Bill Dean Drive, it's next to Buffalo Wild Wings. Off of, can't think of the road. Yeah, next to Buffalo Wild Wings. It's got a big sign, Toe to Toe Martial Arts. You can message me on Facebook at Joel Fountain, or you can message Curtis Robinson at Curtis Robinson on Facebook, and we'll be happy to schedule an appointment. You can try it a week for free. Another one I have to shout out is my buddy Mike, Jesse Park. He owns a studio called Swamp Dragon. It's a multi-artist encompassing studio, so he can help you record an album, record a single song, or he could even create album artwork. He's an artist as well, so he's very versatile guy. And we've got a showcase coming up of our kind of music, and we've got some bands that are going to come and play at the dojo. We actually just had a showcase in April. And the next one coming up is December 3rd. Okay, so December 3rd, we're going to have an all-day showcase. We're going to have big bands there, and he's got students that he teaches. He's not taking students at the moment, but he does have some young prodigies who are musicians who are going to be able to perform, and you guys can get tickets for that coming up in the next couple months or so. So we're going to have some tickets for you guys to get for that.
Awesome. Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll leave, his Facebook link in the description. And if you're listening to the podcast, if you go to the description, I'll leave it on there as well. And so there's nothing left but to hear your music. So take it away.
Test. Here we go. Okay, gotta make sure the mic turned on. You might be able to hear me a little better now. I'll see you there on a Maybe say I wanna leave it again. On the weekend, I wanna wish it all away. Yeah. Boy, I said, and I go, and I said, and I thought out of it again. And the reason I leave back on my door, I said, don't know whether I'm the box or the bed. Ooh, yeah. How can you see them out on the porch? But they don't wait. And I see them round the way. I don't wanna stay. And I don't wanna stay. Don't wanna stay. Don't wanna stay. No.
Yeah, I'm a poet, so I snap. Yeah. Every time I'm always on a virtual stage, everyone's always like clapping or doing something. I'm just like, we snap, but um, Well, I do want to give a shout out to your beautiful mother for turning
Yeah, that dedicate
50.
that one.
I definitely want to give out a shout out to Joey because he's the first Jewish musician that I met here in Conway. So maybe we'll have him on one of these days.
Definitely. That's
uh,
another awesome musician. I super duper appreciate him performing at my mom's bash at Diablo's. That was awesome. It was an honor to perform with that guy. So, and I look forward to jamming with him again.
yeah, I told him between you two, you guys could turn my poems into into songs because I'm not a musician. Like I took like maybe 3 months of piano, so I know the basics, but I am musically inclined. But I do a lot of spoken word things. So I'm really good with words, just not a musician.
I
And
hear that.
that's okay. Um, I like music though. I love it. But thank you so much for being on here and sharing a little bit of your time with us. And
Okay.
for anybody that is interested in martial arts, definitely reach out to him. And if you're in the Conway area, I'll leave all of his information for you to reach out to him. And so take care, everyone. God bless and peace be with you.
Thanks so much, guys. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.